Welcome back, everyone. And thank you for tuning in to True Crime and Whatnot. There are a million things that you could be listening to right now. So the fact that you have chosen to spend some time with me genuinely means so much. Whether you've been here since day one or you just found the podcast, I'm really grateful to have you along for this ride. Now, grab your drink, get comfy, and let's dive into today's whatnot. Mayfair, London. Polished brass door knockers, tailored suits, old money breathing softly behind velvet curtains, the kind of neighborhood where secrets are sealed with wax and discretion. But at 50 Berkeley Square, something else lingered. Something that turned drawing rooms into danger zones and bedrooms into death traps. Tonight, we step inside one of London's most notorious addresses. A house whispered about in gentlemen's clubs. A house where, according to legend, a man died of pure terror. This is the story of 50 Berkeley Square. The townhouse stands in Berkeley Square, an elegant Georgian address built in the 18th century. Brick facade, tall sash windows, perfect symmetry, the architectural equivalent of a stiff upper lip. But by the mid 1800s, rumors began to coil around it like fog. Locals claimed the attic room was haunted. Some said by a young woman who had thrown herself from a window. Others insisted it was a former resident driven mad, pacing eternally between fireplace and wall. And then there were the darker murmurs. A presence, something inhuman. The house gained a nickname in Victorian London society, the most haunted house in London. That's when the daredevils arrived. In 1840, a young aristocrat named Sir Robert Warboys reportedly accepted a challenge: spend the night in the attic room of 50 Berkeley Square, alone. He brought a pistol. The arrangement was simple. If he saw something, he would fire once. If he needed help, he would fire twice. His friends waited below. Around midnight, a single gunshot shattered the silence. They rushed upstairs. They found Warboys slumped in a corner. No wound, no blood. The pistol discharged into the wall. His face frozen in an expression of twisted fear that witnesses later described it as unearthly. He was dead. Official cause? Unclear. Heart failure, perhaps? But in Victorian London, people didn't die of heart failure from drafts and bad wallpaper. They died because they saw something. Or so the story goes. Years later, another man accepted the challenge, a sailor. Accounts differ on his name, but his story survives in retellings. He agreed to spend the night in the same attic room, armed, prepared, waiting. In the darkness, he reportedly saw a brown, amorphous shape begin to rise from the corner of the room. It wasn't quite solid. It wasn't quite smoke. It moved toward him. He fired. The bullet embedded in the wall. He fled in terror, abandoning pride, bravado, and possibly his belief in the rational world. By now, the house's reputation was cemented. No one wanted to rent it. No one wanted to clean it. And absolutely no one wanted the attic. In 1861, a man named Daniel Dungus Home entered the story. Home was one of the most famous spiritualists of the 19th century. He claimed to levitate, to speak with spirits, to channel the dead. Even high society attended his seances. According to some accounts, Home spent time investigating 50 Berkeley Square. He reportedly described the entity in the attic as not merely a ghost, but something darker, something oppressive. However, hard documentation is scarce. Victorian newspapers loved the sensation, and 50 Berkeley Square was pure sensation. Was Home documenting genuine phenomena or amplifying a legend already spiraling out of control? Now, here is where the true crime lens sharpens. Despite the dramatic tales, historians have struggled to verify the death of Sir Robert Warboys. Some records suggest he may never have existed. Newspaper reports from the era are inconsistent. The sailor's story shifts depending on who's telling it. In fact, the house was at one point owned by a man named Thomas Myers, who was reportedly reclusive and mentally unwell. Neighbors claimed strange noises came from inside. Some suggested that what people interpreted as supernatural could have been entirely human. Isolation, illness, urban legend. And in Victorian England, fear was entertainment. Ghost stories were currency. It is possible the legend of 50 Berkeley Square grew not from murder or monsters, but from storytelling itself. Today, 50 Berkeley Square still stands. It has housed bookstores, offices, and businesses. The attic no longer serves as a proving ground for thrill seekers. but the legend clings. Was there ever a death by fright? Did someone truly fire a pistol into the darkness at something unexplainable? Or was the real crime something subtler? The manufacturing of terror for a society that craved it. Because here's the truth: fear is contagious. And once a house is declared haunted, every creak becomes a confession, every shadow becomes a suspect. 50 Berkeley Square reminds us that sometimes the most enduring mysteries aren't about what happened, but about what we want to believe happened. Join us next time as we step into another address where history and horror share the same walls. Until then, if you find yourself alone in an old house and you hear something breathing in the dark, you might want to leave the attic light on. Till next time, stay true and whatnot. Bye.